Welcome everyone to our first PIC meeting of 2025. I hope everyone had a great break, had some time to relax and spend time with family, and are slowly but surely getting back into the swing of things. I know it's taking me longer than I expected to try to get things going, but we're here. So thanks everyone again for being here. And if we could just get the slides up, we'll just go through what we have for today. Oh, I don't know. There we go. All right. Go ahead.
You can start. So I'm sorry, Abdullah, and
Shazia Hassan.
and co-chair of Parent Involvement Committee. We now call this meeting to order and welcome everyone to the Parent Involvement Committee meeting. Next, we will go for our next agenda item for tonight, that is acknowledgement of traditional lands. We will now view the acknowledgement of traditional territory.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships, which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you very much. For next agenda item for tonight is approval of agenda. The agenda was distributed by legal governance. So is there a mover and a seconder for the approval of agenda? We need a mover. Shazia, and a seconder, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Agenda is approved. All in favor? Carries. Item number 4 is declaration of conflict of interest. Do we have any conflict of interest to be declared? There's none of them, so we will move on with the agenda. Approval of minutes. Agenda number 5. Item number 5. The October 17 meeting minutes were disseminated for your consideration. Is there a mover and a seconder for the approval of the October 7 meeting minutes? Shazia, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. All in favor, the October meeting minutes are approved. Item number 6 for tonight is PIC update and reports. First item for today is PIC communication. In this meeting, we will focus on enhancing PIC's communication strategy to strengthen collaboration with the broader community and support student success. Building on the insights shared in the previous meeting, we would like the board to review the effectiveness of current communication channels, including newsletters, social media, PDSB website postings, and memos distributed through superintendents to school councils and principals. Specific metrics or examples such as engagement rates and feedback would be helpful to illustrate the impact of these channels. We would also like to get update from board members regarding key proposals shared in previous meeting to establish a dedicated section in the board's monthly newsletter to highlight PIC's updates, resources, and initiatives, ensuring timely and transparent information sharing. Additionally, we seek more insight from board members regarding the role of the communications department as outlined by Associate Director Dr. Logan in October 17th meeting to lead outbound messaging while aligning with PIC's objectives. Clarifying the specific responsibilities of the communications department and how they will collaborate with PIC will ensure everyone is on the same page regarding roles, and expectations. The goal of this discussion is to develop a structured communication plan with clear timelines and responsibilities, ensuring that our efforts effectively engage parents, school councils, and the broader community in supporting our shared vision of student achievement and well-being. Do we have a discussion regarding PIC communication? So may I have a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receive the information of PIC communication? And the seconder?
Susan.
The information is received. All in favor, carried. Next agenda item for tonight is subcommittee update. It's a bylaw subcommittee. May I request Shazia to present the bylaw subcommittee update?
All right, so late last year, the bylaw subcommittee met to review the overall bylaws, and our focus was on the membership bylaw. So I think that just given, the subcommittee's focus shifted to the Great Start event and the programs, the bylaw subcommittee will be reconvening to revisit the bylaw subcommittees and also look at the other the other bylaws that had been edited, and looking to sort of finalize those before the end of this PIC term. So bylaw subcommittee, stay tuned. We will be reconvening soon.
Thank you, Shazia. May I have a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receive the information of bylaw subcommittee by Shazia? Thank you, Alison. And the seconder? Carry. Next agenda item for tonight is regarding strategic planning subcommittee update. The strategic planning subcommittee will convene in the coming weeks to finalize plans for PIC events for the remainder of the current year and to outline key initiatives for the upcoming academic year. This meeting will focus on aligning our activities with PIC's goals of fostering parent engagement and supporting student success. Further details, including the meeting agenda and schedule, will be shared soon. And that's it for our strategic planning subcommittee. And I need a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receive the update of strategic planning subcommittee. And the seconder for receiving this information.
Trustee.
Thank you.
You can do Susan Benjamin.
Oh, okay, I see. I'll be Susan.
Carried. All in favor. Next item for tonight is Great Start event review. The Great Start event held on November 12, 2024, successfully provided an engaging orientation and training for school council members. The evening included welcoming remarks from Director Ashwini Swaroop and sessions led by PIC co-chairs, governance experts, and school finance managers, covering topics such as effective meetings, school budgets, and parent engagement. Attendees explored strategies for fostering collaboration through the gathering model of community town halls, which promotes open dialogue and aligns with the school improvement plans. The event highlighted funding opportunities like the Parent Engagement Grant and Program, emphasizing their role in removing barriers and supporting parent-driven initiatives. Networking breaks and question and answer sessions encouraged meaningful connections, and resources were shared for ongoing support. Overall, the event strengthened the partnership between parents and the board, ensuring collective efforts for student success and well-being. Now, I'm pleased to share the findings from the community engagement survey conducted after the Great Start event on November 12, 2024. With responses from 24 participants, primarily parents or guardians, the feedback highlights both the successes of the event and opportunities for improvement. Key motivations for attendance. Most participants were school council members eager to understand their roles, rights, and responsibilities, with a strong interest in learning about PIC and funding opportunities like the program. Many were encouraged to attend by principals or councils, reflecting the value placed on collaboration and learning. Event highlights. Attendees appreciated the event's informative sessions on programs, council boards, and town halls, as well as engagement opportunities during question and answer discussions. Networking with board employees and other members was also a key highlight. While in-person participants praised the interaction, online attendees noted the need for better engagement opportunities. Feedback on experience. 90% of respondents rated the event as excellent or good. Suggestions for improvement included extending question and answer sessions, enhancing online participation with tools like breakout rooms, and scheduling events earlier in the school year to align with planning needs. Future interest and suggestion. Participants expressed enthusiasm for joint town halls activities promoting broader community engagement and targeted support for school councils. Recommendations included prioritizing inclusivity, improving hybrid event formats, and enhancing communication through newsletters and school websites. I will give few takeaways from the survey. The event was well received, offering valuable insights on fostering collaboration. Moving forward, our focus will be on creating more interactive, inclusive, and accessible events while continuing to empower parents and school councils to support student success. Thank you, and I look forward to your feedback and discussions.
Nice. I just have a couple questions. So my first is, would it be possible for us to take a look at the survey results? Is it in a place where we could take a look at it?
The survey result has been shared with PIC members.
Great.
After the survey.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. I'll go back. That's my responsibility. My second question is, I noted one of the responses mentioned the idea of having the event a little bit earlier. So my question is, how quickly as a group, and is it this group or the strategic planning subcommittee, can we start planning for September's event, maybe even getting a date solidified before the end of the year so that people can plan in June what the September might look like?
Thank you, Sharon, for sharing your feedback. And as mentioned in the strategic planning subcommittee update, that soon we will be meeting to discuss the remainder of the year and the upcoming academic year, so we can plan accordingly.
And I just wanted to add that I think it's ideal to have it as close to the beginning of the year as possible, but a lot of the school councils don't actually establish their council till about the middle of October.
Okay.
So, but certainly I think like sometime close to the middle of October, if we can plan for that, I think that would definitely be something helpful, especially for new council members who are coming in fresh and then don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's a good suggestion. I think that's something we'll definitely try to aim for next year.
Yeah.
Do we have any other question?
Yeah, trustee Clark.
Hey, thank you. It's great to be with you virtually today. I'd rather be there in person, but it is what it is. My question is, how are we going to be answering the questions? You know, what type of feedback are we going to be offering to the people who filled out the survey?
So, I mean, the overall goal is really to take that feedback and to try to incorporate some of that into our future events. So not just the Great Start event, but also planning for, if we're doing it's a family affair event at the end of the year. So taking some of that into consideration as well. And I mean, PIC, we maintain an open line with participants. So if anybody does have feedback, if they're looking for, further clarification, further sort of targeted feedback, like they're more than welcome to contact us and we can sort of, listen to what they want to say and really try to take those ideas and feedback and try to make our events better. Because that's the goal at the end of the day. We want to, make sure that everyone's really getting something out of it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do we have any other question? So may I have a motion that the parent involvement committee receives information of Great Start event? And second, thank you. So we'll move on with our agenda, and next agenda item is programs. I would like to invite Shazia, our co-chair, to present program information.
Thank you, Saria. So programs information was sent out to principals and vice principals at the end of last year. So just for the holidays. And I believe it was posted to Facebook earlier this week. We're hoping to get, and it was also included in the all families message. And so far to date, we've received 19 applications from schools. 14 of those have been approved. The remaining 5 ranged, the ideas range in activities that were not parent engagement targeted. So we did respond to each of those schools, inviting them to reapply and letting them know specifically the reason why their application as it stands could not be approved. But did again maintain the line of communication with them, letting them know that if they have any questions, they're more than welcome to reach out to us and we can help facilitate some ideas. So some of the applications that we've received to date include ideas for bringing in speakers to talk about various topics. So for example, some of them include bringing in targeted speakers to speak to a large number of immigrant families and talking about, really specific ways to get people and families involved in their school and in their child's education. Cybersecurity is always a popular one, so we've seen a couple of those come through as well. And yeah, so just the number of different ideas that we've had. We have simplified the process this year, so reviewing the applications has been a lot easier. And so the ones that are approved to date have been sent to the board for dissemination of funds. So just looking forward to just making sure that these schools can receive the funding as the applications come in and get approved, so we don't have to wait till the end of the application period. So we will be communicating with those schools soon, and we're hoping for a little bit more of a push in getting more of the information of the program out so that we can get more schools coming in to apply. So I know it's still the beginning of the year, school councils are probably still getting going. As it stands right now, the date is February 15th for the deadline, but we will, as the date gets closer, depending on how many applications we have, we will reevaluate. We do really want to give all schools an opportunity to be able to bring, engagement activities forward. So a request to everyone here is please, spread the word, encourage everyone to apply for the programs, because it really is a good opportunity for schools to come up. And any questions?
I just want to add to Shazia's program that we are looking forward to invite school councils to showcase their work during one of our big public meetings. So I would encourage all school councils to look forward for apply for the program, and they can also showcase their work.
And also, just on that note, if any school councils out there are unsure of what types of ideas they could bring forward for the programs, we encourage them to reach out to PIC. We were happy to sort of help with ideas. I think every school can, benefit from this, and there's something that everyone can do. So just wanted to then make a motion to receive the information about the programs. Thank you. Aria? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So then moving on to the next agenda item. So the Empowering Modern Learners has been reviewed, and we're very fortunate to have Superintendent Bernadette Smith with us today to give us an overview about the Empowering Modern Learners document that was shared with us earlier. And so I'd like to invite Bernadette to come to, I believe she's online. So invite her to come to the screen and share the information with us.
Hi there.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm courting Principal Tony Mosconi here. I'm representing Bernadette Smith tonight. She's unable to make it. She sends her regrets. So
thank you very much.
No problem.
For joining us, Tony.
Thank you for having us. Am I able to have sharing? Oh, you've just provided me. Perfect. So I'll just pull up our PowerPoint. We're here today to share the update for the Empowering Modern Learner Vision document that will be coming out in the near future. And before we get into that, we're going to speak about the work of our department, which includes technology-enabled learning and how it connects to curriculum integration, our projects, which involve LEAP and Spark, and looking at the EML revisioning document. So within the Innovation International Programs Department, there's many different portfolios. We have our EdTech Innovation portfolio, which includes technology-enabled learning. We also work with external partnerships and in innovation hubs, which are spaces within schools that connect community, feeder schools, and looking at innovative practices, such as connecting it to future readiness skills. Some of them might have technology such as robotics and coding. It's very much grassroots connected to the school. We also have coding and computer studies, looking at integrating emerging technology, project-based learning, programming. We've developed a coding continuum this year that helps support learners as they move along the continuum. We look at STEM and STEAM integration. Some of that includes science, technology, application center classes, which is the precursor to skilled trades in high school. We begin that in elementary school, where we focus on interdisciplinary education. And then also within the international program would be international students, delegations, teaching abroad, as well as staff and student exchanges. We also have library support services. So all of the libraries within schools within the district we support through resource delivery, looking at inclusion within those spaces and how to align pedagogy and resources. There's also virtual schools. So we have elementary virtual school, which has 900 students approximately, and the Peel Virtual Secondary School, which has approximately 600 students. And there's also e-learning, which has approximately 2,300 students. And then also within our portfolio is the We Welcome the World. So that's for grades 3 to 12 newcomer students and looking at admission, assessment, and transition and supporting them with that transition into the school. There's multicultural settlement and educational partnerships that occur, as well as translation services. So this is sort of a broad overview within the Innovation International Program Department. Specifically within the EdTech Innovation portfolio, these will be the items, as I mentioned. We look at the EML portfolio, which includes artificial intelligence, technology-enabled learning. We also have science and technology curriculum, the coding curriculum, library, as well as digital citizenship, privacy, and data security. This is our team that we have within the board. We have 14 resource teachers for EdTech Innovation that go out and support the system with those items I had mentioned previously. This also speaks about what we had spoken to previously, and I'll go specifically into some of the work. So when we think about our work in our department, we talk about how do you imagine the future of education? Because we're preparing students with future readiness skills, and we want to make sure that, it's not only about these sort of static or rigid skills, but being able to be flexible and adaptable for a future or technology that may not even be present currently. And that is all tied to our Empowering Modern Learners document. We have 6 innovative elements, which are listed there: learning culture, equitable assessment, access to technology and tools, global competencies, learning environment, and models of learning. And all of that is connected to student-centered learning, real-world connections, and the future readiness skills, which I mentioned, and integration of technology and digital literacy within culturally responsive and relevant practices and universal design for learning. We have two sort of larger projects on the go. We have leading education innovation projects, approximately 180 projects currently, and 50 iPad specific. And what these are is that schools would reach out. We have an application process where they would come and reach out to our department. They get a small piece of funding, and then our team would send out the resource teachers to support them with the implementation of that project. And these are just a few examples. So you can kind of get a picture of what it'll look like, looking at student agency through podcasting. So the school would have targeted reading intervention through the vehicle of podcasting and identity affirming podcasts. Another example was a family of school-wide mentorship program on a STEAM Change Challenge. So students would have come, they would have had a problem presented to them connected to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and then students would have worked through that problem to come up with a possible solution. And then another one was around, we have what's called elementary PEEL skills, which is connected to skilled trades. And in this particular example, the school had a 500% increase in participation from identity affinity groups and girls in particular through the work of the PEEL skills. We also have what's called SPARK. So that stands for student-centered, progressive, augmented, relevant, and knowledge building. And these are, again, projects that schools would engage in that are kind of connected to future readiness skills. We have about 500 projects on the go in 150 schools right now. And some examples of what that would look like involve some community partners, which we have here, as well as university and college partnerships, where they would connect with either mentorship or learning opportunities for students to engage in. So one of the ones that we just had in December was a rocketry event. We had over 150 students coming with nearly 20 industry and community partners, being able to support students in rocketry, and not only with the design phase, but also the marketing, being able to connect it to coding and robotics, and those partners were able to provide that mentorship. We also had recently a coding event. We also had app development. So that's what you're seeing here is some app development where students are able to connect that to their curriculum. This was an example at Sheridan College where we had girls in skilled trades where they got to go and have experienced these opportunities. And we had both girls in grade 7 and 8, as well as secondary school to provide both of those cohorts. This is an example of augmented reality and digital storytelling, where students are able to take their creative work and then connect it to the technology piece here. And we also have what's called pop-up innovation hubs, where we offer professional learning for teachers on various topics. And these were just a few of them on Lego robotics, podcasting, and sound design. So that brings us to our revisioning. So our Empowering Modern Learners document now was from September 2021 with our new multi-year strategic plan for the next few years. We're looking to align, update the document and also align it with the multi-year strategic plan to include some of those emerging technologies, to include as well more specific connections to our board priorities, that connect to culturally responsive and relevant practices, and all the priorities in general. So we have here a consultation survey that any of you who'd like to share, we're very happy to receive feedback. And what you would do in that bit.ly is being able to log in. And then they have the 6 elements, which I spoke about earlier, that guides our work: learning culture, equitable assessment, access to technology and tools, global competencies, learning environments, and models of learning. You would select one or more, however many you want to be able to provide feedback, and then click on the form beside it. And then you can read the brief description of the element and then be able to provide feedback on what you would like to see can sort of evolve in this new document that we will be releasing soon. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. If there's any, I'm happy to take any questions.
I have a small question. And it's probably not something that you can answer, but I'm curious to know how we are increasing the amount of technology in the classroom and the opportunities while at the same time removing things like devices, right? Because I know that's a policy that's come out. And then just coincidental timing, I was looking at a news article the other day that says Sweden is actually pulling out technology from the classrooms and reintroducing textbooks and pencil and paper because of some of the detrimental effect that technology in the classroom is having. Now, I myself am usually somebody that's heavily involved in technology. I was in virtual reality and augmented reality myself, so I do see a conflict there. So I'm not sure if anybody's thought about those things or if anybody's got their finger on the pulse there, but it's just something that's kind of popped up as schools start to take devices out of the classroom, but still manage to create opportunity.
And that's an excellent question. And what we do is when we support schools, it's always about being able to find multiple entry points for learners and schools and communities, because every school will sort of be at a different point and a focus. So one way is to look at it in terms of no tech, low tech, high tech. So when you're looking at learning experiences in the classroom, how can we provide those three options so students have multiple entry points at that? And many may want to show their learning using those no tech or low tech options. Some want to use high tech. There's mixed. So maybe they want to first start off with a bit of no technology and then slowly move on to that. Another piece is to use existing technology in the school. So it's not about going out and buying the most fancy or newest piece of technology. It's using and leveraging what you already have. So many of our team, when they go out to schools, it's about being able to do an audit. What do we already have? Okay, we have Chromebooks. How can we integrate that into technology and be able to leverage that with experiences? Maybe some schools might already have some Lego robotics that they've had from years ago. Okay, how can we bring that out and now be able to train staff and provide students with those experiences? So it's sort of that continuum and multiple entry points to support student and school local needs.
Thank you.
Tony, I just had a quick question as well. Thank you for that presentation. My question is about the consultation survey. Are you looking for feedback from this group in particular, or are you hoping to cast a bit of a wider net just in our continuing mandate to engage school councils in a meaningful way? Are you hoping that this is information to be disseminated to school councils? Or is this an internal consultation?
It's a consultation currently for the PIC committee. And we've also connected with educators and across the system and different stakeholders. So for the purposes of this presentation, it was for the PIC committee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. And I'm really happy to have an opportunity to ask a question because this is really a hot button issue at my school right now. So I have a few questions, but I'm going to ask them one at a time. So my first question is, can you tell us what guidance you're sharing with educators as to when children should begin to engage with devices in the classroom? So I'm thinking about Chromebooks and tablets, for example. And what are the guidelines for how much students should be on devices in the classroom? And I'm talking specifically about elementary here. So I'm talking about our youngest students and at what stage they get exposed and have a device in their hands.
Yeah. And it's sort of, it goes back to that mixed approach before. So when we talk about introducing technology at a younger age, it'll look different at different schools. But like one example may be, the teachers modeling it at the front of the class for students on how to use technology responsibly and some considerations to keep in mind, as they progress through the grades of how to use the technology. Because the biggest thing is being able to, at the end of the day, it's just a tool. It's how we use it in a way that becomes to really leverage the learning behind it. So one would be around that. And the other thing around when to use the technology, that would come to the educator and that school as a whole in terms of what their plan is that they would have set out. And we would support the school and depending on, how their school goals would be.
Okay, thanks. So what I'm hearing then is that there is not a guideline that's been developed by your team to then let educators know what the PDSB thinks is appropriate in terms of how old they are when they get their tablet or their Chromebook and how much of their day is spent on those devices. I think that's what you're saying. I just want to make sure. And I'm wondering, I guess, if I'm right, then my question is that on the radar for your group to be thinking about?
We have a digital citizenship policy that was updated in the springtime last year, which outlines many of those pieces of how, when, and how to use technology. We also have a privacy and security guidance, which talks about when we're utilizing technology, how to have those considerations in it. Additionally, we have a social media policy, which again outlines certain pieces around some of those points that you're mentioning. And then we also have most recently an AI interim guidance, which provides guidance to educators when they're, if they're thinking of utilizing AI in the classroom, what are some considerations? And there's 14 different subcategories there. And some of those might include privacy, security, bias, equity, because when we're using tools, we know that, especially with AI, there's some equity and bias concerns there. So being able to support educators in when they're using those and selecting them, how can we use them responsibly so that we account for those biases in the tool?
Okay, thanks for that. I would like to see the team look at what is the best and current research on what is an appropriate level of technology. And I'm thinking specifically like a Chromebook in front of like a grade 1 student or a grade 2 student. I think Jason had mentioned about, I'm forgetting what country it was, Jason, you can chime in, thank you, Sweden. And I imagine that they're pulling the technology, again, I'll look into it, but I'm imagining it's because there's been research done on, for example, learning with a pencil and paper, firing different parts of the brain than pushing buttons on the screen. So that's why this is something that I think someone at the board should be looking at. And it seems like your team is probably the right team to be looking at this, to be looking at the research, to be coming out with a clear positioning so that even those schools, each school is going to have its own sort of direction, and as they should, but to have a place where educators can go to say, these are the appropriate guidelines. And so that if a grade 2 student is spending, for example, 5 hours of their 6-hour school day looking at a Chromebook and not holding a pencil, because that's something that the board is comfortable with. I'm guessing it's no, but I think that relying on people just for common sense might not be, I think guidelines are helpful for folks. I'm very curious if others have ideas on that, because my sense is that it's, yeah, well, that's what I would like to just put to the record. And then my last question is, and you might not be able to answer this for us, but I would like to understand what the process is, what the governance is for selecting third-party like tech tools that are being used in the classroom. So my understanding is that there would be a set of approved programs, for example, that could support the math curriculum or the, et cetera. And so I'm curious how that gets determined. And, we had like a very public breach within the last, whatever that was, 10 days. And obviously I'm thinking this is a front and center question. And so I'd like to know how that's working in your team.
Yeah, so the different departments, if they're looking to have board approved tools, what would happen? So let's say, for instance, as an example, the math department, they're selecting a few math tools that they want as the board approved tools. So they would have reviewed it from a pedagogy perspective to ensure it aligns with the Peel board, goals and priorities. They would then bring it forward to our internal committee, which reviews it for privacy and security to ensure that it meets all of the privacy security criteria. And then once all the committee comes with all of the different stakeholders, after they've reviewed it through that thorough process, it then becomes available for use within the board.
Okay, thanks for that. And I'll make this my final question, and I appreciate everyone's time.
No problem.
On this. So in light of the recent events, I'm curious I'm sort of curious what you can share, if anything, in terms of the reaction inside when that news came out about the data breach. And clearly that's outside of the control of the PDSB, but what is inside the control is which partners we choose and how many partners we choose, because each additional partner is an additional opening, right, in the system and in the data. So I guess I'm kind of just would love to know, what type of stir, if at all, that created, and whether there is an appetite to go back to whatever policy that privacy group is using to strengthen those guidelines so that we would be even more stringent around this, certainly versus less, and possibly versus status quo.
Yeah, I'll take those questions back. Within our department, we look at pedagogy, technology use through pedagogy, not necessarily the privacy security piece of it. That's a different department, so I can definitely share that feedback with them.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
I have a question too regarding, as you told about regarding supporting schools. So once you would provide support to schools, so after they are getting using the technologies, so what are the checkpoints? How will you monitor that they are using in right direction? How will you evaluate how they are using, and are they it is in right direction, and how will you monitor it?
So the school would be, in terms of monitoring it, the school would monitor at a local level, because they develop their school goals in relation to the board goal, and then our team will come in and support. But within our team, we do our own internal accountability. So when we go out to schools, we have that all tracked in terms of what school have we gone to, what level of support did we provide to them, what was the impact. We do all our internal impact reports. So looking at the schools that we've supported, how have we been able to impact the learning? If they were looking at different indicators, how have we measured that success? And then it's constantly being reviewed, because for our own team, we need to be able to see results in order for us to sort of see that we're meeting our internal mandates. And then if we're not, we're adjusting and we're changing. So an example would be it's not always about technology. We look at being able to provide different tools for learning. So for instance, even today, we had a workshop for educators on sewing and how to be able to integrate sewing into curriculum to be able to make those connections to those different curricular areas. We've done a culinary skills innovation hub where students are able to go and be able to engage in different culinary skills and use those types of tools to then connect to pathways. So depending on, it's not only about the technology piece, we're also providing different experiences for students through experiential learning. But in terms of your question, yes, we do monitor internally for our work.
So, yeah, thank you. So my understanding is that there will be time to time outcome evaluation from your side.
Sorry?
There will be time to time outcome evaluation too.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To say if I may, I do want to say if I may as well, Tony, that was a great presentation, but I do want to say as well that a lot of the work that I see the innovation department, how they support schools is around project-based learning. So the kids are learning, some technology, but they're solving a problem together, or they're creating things together. And recently we had a group of students from Darcel, grade 8, that participated and created this amazing and won this amazing international competition in Europe around, and they created a robot around solving forest fires. And we know that this is a huge environmental issue. And I think it was Tony's department that supported the seeding and the inception of that project. So a lot of the work as well is project-based work around kids working together to solve future issues. And a lot of these issues are social justice issues as well. Just wanted to say that. Thanks, chairs.
Thank you, Chair, for sharing that.
Can I add to that the award, please? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because those kids became the world champions in the robotic competition, those 4 girls. And they were even honored by the local MPP from Ward 5, and they went to Ottawa, and they were also, there was a presentation to award them there and to recognize their talent. So you know what, the world is the limit for our, the sky is the limit for our students. Anything is possible. Thank you, Tony.
Sorry, and if I could just add on to that, that story is very it's very interesting as well, because the girls who participated, those educators, they didn't have a previous coding experience. They started in January of that year, and they were all working through it to be able to get to that point in May. So that was a nice journey to see, and they received the key to the city from the mayor of Mississauga.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, cool.
So that's really cool. Well, thank you very much, Tony, for sharing that with us. There's a lot of good work that's gone into it, and I think it's going to be great once it's shared broadly with the Peel community. So thank you again for bringing that to us. And we will share the link for the consultation with the remaining PIC members, and hopefully have some feedback to share with you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is there any timeline that we can provide our feedback to?
Yes, if it can be within the next 2 weeks as we begin to the next phase, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
All right, can we have a motion to receive the information about the EML document? Sorry, yet? Awesome. Thank you.
So moving on with our agenda item tonight is board updates. And I would like to invite Associate Director Dr. Camille Logan to give the presentation.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I know that we are partway through January, but this again, as our co-chairs articulated, is our first meeting of 2025. So also wanted to wish everyone a welcome to 2025. And I hope that everybody's having a great start. Just wanted to do a little bit of an update just to highlight some of the things that have been happening over the course of the year, and that has been articulated through our 2023-2024 Director's Annual Report. You would have received that in the communication that went out in the All Families message last week. And so just encouraging you to take an opportunity to review that, and you will see the Darcel students that were just being referenced, who were recognized for their incredible accomplishments with the science and technology project they did. And so that is noted in the Director's Annual Report, along with the other amazing things that students have done. And it's organized all along to align with our multi-year strategic plan in terms of looking at student achievement, community engagement, mental health and well-being, and pathways and transitions. And so you'll have an opportunity to see all the incredible things that we have done as a board in terms of being able to support that. So I do encourage you to have a good look at that annual report, because there also may be some questions or things that you would like to discuss further here as a parent involvement committee. Also just want to recognize each time we come together, we always recognize the Heritage Month. And so for January, it is Tamil Heritage Month. So there will be activities happening in our schools to recognize that month. And we're so excited as well because children born in 2021, and every time I see these numbers, I'm like, okay, children born in 2021 are welcome to start kindergarten. And so our kindergarten registration opened in December. And so we're really looking forward to having all of the new young students join the PDSB. And the registration information has also been shared, and it is on the website. And along with this time of year are a number of registrations that parents really should be aware of. So for example, our French immersion and extended French applications. So they are open, and they're open until the end of the month. We also have our high performers program. That registration is open. Also our elementary regional learning choices programs, that registration is open, and there are some information sessions as well. And then for our secondary students and soon to be secondary students, so grade 8s graduating and going into grade 9, also have our course selection dates that are happening in January, and there are information sessions that are available. So really encourage families to be aware of those important dates and timelines. There was also information that was shared in the families update around a free webinar, building a vape-free society. And so encourage families again. We know that this year we had our cell phone policy along with our anti-vaping policy, and we can continue to have success in our schools and our learning environments in those regards. But this is some information that will help to support parents as they support what's happening in our schools. And then finally, just a reminder that for our kindergarten to grade 8 families, that Monday, January 20th is a professional activity day. And so these are just some of the things to be aware of as parents and families over the course of the month. And we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting in February. And I will now turn it over to Superintendent Grant.
Thank you, Camille. So I just have a number of updates from the equity department, and I feel like after Tony's presentation, I'm coming down from high tech to low tech. So just in terms of a number of student leadership opportunities that we were able to support through the equity department in December, just in December. Firstly, the Peel District School Board, I'm really proud to announce that the Peel District School Board Muslim Youth Leadership Conference 2024 was held over 2 days in December, and we had over 200 middle school students and 300 secondary students gathered for full days of celebration and learning in the community. We had representatives from the Aga Khan Museum. They offered lunchtime exhibits, and we had special guest speakers such as Wally Shaw, and the kids were excited. And very importantly, we also honored and celebrated the life of Principal Omar Zia, his work and his contributions to students and families in the Peel District School Board. And I worked very closely with Omar, and I know that he has made great contributions to our board and that he will be dearly, dearly missed. Secondly, I'm
sorry if I can just interrupt. Can we just get the slides up, please? I think there's some slides about with some information about what we're talking about that'd be relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. And so secondly, I do want to announce that we held the first Jewish Students Alliance. And so Jewish students gathered from different schools for their first inaugural Shanika celebration, and this first event in December. Students, staff, parents, and trustees enjoyed delicious treats, participated in a menorah building workshop, and really appreciated the opportunity and the experience to come together in community. And I do want to emphasize that this is a first in Peel, and we hope to continue across the Peel District School Board. And this, of course, was in the Clarkson Arundel family of schools. Also, again, on the theme of student leadership, as we continue to empower modern learners, the Peel District School Board Student Equity Council has held 3 meetings this school year. We had 40 secondary school students representing schools from Caledon, Brampton, and Mississauga shared their invaluable insights into their schooling experience and the schooling experience of Peel District School Board students, the causes that they hold dear in their school communities and to themselves. Student leaders engaged in learning about the equity literacy framework and how we apply this to our knowledge and to our work in solidarity to address inequities that serve as barriers to students and their families. And I'm pleased to say that some of the issues that our students are passionate about and they're excited to take action on includes certainly creating more affinity spaces in our schools, as well as the opportunity to work together in community across cultures. Students are very passionate about mental health and really the issues of youth mental health. I've been in the board now for 22 years, and there was a time when it was 1 in 5, and now it's 1 in 2 students who struggle with their mental health. So these are issues that we're really excited to work with students to address in our board, and students are also very, very much concerned about food insecurity in Peel region. And so a core value of the Peel District School Board Student Equity League Council is collectivism. And I do have to say that Director Rashmi has been at most of the meetings, and she really sits attentively and really attuned to feedback from students and how we can take action, because these are the students who are experienced in our schools and our classrooms. And lastly, I do want to thank the Sidam Food Bank, who is working with us in partnership during the first week back from school. In January, we worked with 42 schools to deliver emergency food hampers to help students and families facing food insecurity. And again, this is a matter that's dear to our students and families and is occurring all across the Peel region. Approximately 11,500 food hampers were distributed for students and their families. And so together with the Sidam Food Bank, we were able to give many Peel District School Board students and their families a healthy start to the school year. And this is a partnership that we hope to continue. Thank you.
Do you have any questions from PIC members? Is there a mover and a seconder for receiving this information? Susan, thank you. And there's thank you, Chef. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Dr. Logan, and thank you, Althea, for providing the information. We will move on with our agenda tonight. Next agenda item is communications. Are there any communication items to share at this time? Don't have any. Next one is committee members motions for consideration. Do we have any motion for consideration at this time? There are no motion for consideration. Next item is committee member notices of motion. Is there any notice of motion at this time? Don't have any. So I would like to ask Shazia to attend the meeting.
All right. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for joining the meeting. We get a motion to close the meeting. Susan, thank you. And Shannon, thank you.
Is there a mover?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.